Yeah.
Hare Krishna, devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chevam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirate नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति भक्ति भक्ति नष्टकी. Today's reading of translations only of several verses will continue from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, titled The Creative Impetus, Chapter 14, titled The Material World as the Great Forest of Enjoyment, verses 37 to 46, starting with the first verse, text 37, translation. Although people may use enemies in order to fulfill their desire again and again, they sometimes get married. Unfortunately, get these marriages do not last very long, and the people involved are separated again by divorce or other means. Text 38. The path of this material world is full of material miseries, and various troubles disturb the conditioned souls. Sometimes he loses, and sometimes he gains. In either case, the path is full of danger. Sometimes the conditioned soul is separated from his father by death or other circumstances. Leaving him aside, he gradually becomes attached to others, such as his children. In this way, the conditioned soul is sometimes illusioned by and afraid. Sometimes he cries loudly out of fear. Sometimes he is happy maintaining his family. And sometimes he is overjoyed and sings melodiously. In this way, he becomes entangled and forgets his separation from the Supreme Personality of Godhead since time immemorial. Thus he traverses the dangerous path of material existence, and on this path he is not at all happy. Those who are self realized simply take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in order to get out of this dangerous material existence. Without accepting the devotional path, one cannot get out of the clutches of material existence. The conclusion is that no one can be happy in material life. One must take to Krishna consciousness. Text 39. Saintly persons who are friends to all living entities have a peaceful consciousness. They have controlled their senses and minds, and they easily attain the path of liberation, the path back to Godhead. Being unfortunate and attached to the miserable material conditions, a materialistic person cannot associate with them. Text 40. There were many great saintly kings who were very expert in performing sacrificial rituals and very competent in conquering other kingdoms. Yet, despite their power, they could not attain the loving service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is because those great kings could not even conquer the false consciousness of I am this body and this is my property. Thus, they simply created enmity with rival kings, fought with them, and died without having discharged life's real mission. Text 41. When the conditioned soul accepts the shelter of the creeper of fruitive activity, he may be elevated by his pious activities to higher planetary systems and thus gain liberation from hellish conditions, but unfortunately, he cannot remain there. After reaping the results of his pious activities, he has to return to the lower planetary systems. In this way, he perpetually goes up and down and comes down again. And comes down. Text 42. Having summarized the teaching of Jad Bharat, Sukadev Goswami said, "My dear King Parishad, the path indicated by Jad Bharat is like the path following by Guruda, the carrier of the Lord, and ordinary kings are just like fleas. Fleas cannot follow the path of Garuda, and to date, none of the great great kings and victorious leaders could follow this path of devotional service, not even mentally." Text 43. While in the prime of life, the great Maharaj Bharata gave up everything because he was fond of serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Uttama Shloka. He gave up his beautiful wife, nice children, great friends, and an empress emperor. Although these things were very difficult to give up, Maharaj Bharata was so exalted that he gave them up, just as one gives up stool after evacuating. Such was the greatness of His Majesty. Text 44. Sukdev Goswami continue, "My dear king, the activities of Bharat Maharaj are wonderful. He gave up everything difficult for others to give up. He gave up his kingdom, his wife, and his family. His opulence was so great that even the demigods envied it. Yet he gave it up. He gave it up. It was quite befitting a great personality like him to be a great devotee. He could renounce everything because he was so attractive to the beauty, opulence, reputation, knowledge, strength, and renunciation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Krishna is so attractive that one can give up all desirable things for his sake. Indeed, even liberation is considered insignificant for those whose minds are attracted to the loving service of the Lord." Text 45. Even though in the body of a deer, Maharaj Bharat did not forget the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, when he was giving up the body of a deer, he loudly uttered the following prayer: "The Supreme Personality of Godhead is sacrifice personified. He gives the results of ritualistic activity. He is the protector of religious systems and personification of mystic yoga, the source of all knowledge, the controller of the entire creation, and the supersoul in every living entity. He is beautiful and attractive. I am quitting this body, offering obeisances unto him, and hoping that I may perpetually engage in in his transcendental loving service." Uttering this, Maharaj Bharat left his body. The last text 46. Devotees interested in hearing the chanting Shavarnam Kirtanam regularly discuss the pure characteristic of Bharat Maharaj and praise his activities. If one submissively hears and chants about the all auspicious Maharaj Bharat, one's lifespan and material opulences certainly increase. One can become very famous and easily attain promotion to the heavenly planets, or attain liberation by merging into the existence of the Lord. Whatever one desires can be attained simply by hearing, chanting, and glorifying the activities of Maharaj Bharat. In this way, one can fulfill all his material and spiritual desires. One does not have to ask anyone else for these things, for simply by studying the life of Maharaj Bharat, one can attain all desirable things. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport of the 5th canto, 14th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled "The Material World as the Great Forest of Enjoyment." Thank you all for joining and hearing this beautiful text. Is all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Please, Shri Krishna Das Prabhuji, would you please do the honor to overview the entire text? Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Sri Radha Hari Mataji. Yeah, thank you, Radharani Mataji. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. वैराग्य विद्या निज भक्ति योगम शिक्षाष्टमेकं पुरुष पुराणम श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य शरीरधारी कृपाम्बदे तमहं प्रपद्ये। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So this chapter, Sukadeva Goswami is elaborating to Parikshit Maharaj for the sake of common man like me. So he is trying to describe what actually Jadabharat means by this whole entanglement in the material world, which is compared to a forest. So the whole allegory that was given to Maharaj Rahugana, so now Sukadeva Goswami is unpacking for all of us to understand. So in this chapter, very vividly is being described the whole, how the whole life gets carried away by the network of senses to fulfill the desires. Again, one falls down into many sufferings. And eventually the death captures. And this cycle goes on and on. And even great people like kings who are able to conquer other kingdoms, and they are also not exception. So one may be very powerful in this material world. Nonetheless, this senses captures every one of them and it takes them for a ride. And this ride is very dangerous, like Sukadeva Goswami is elaborating here. And the conditioned soul, sometimes he gains and sometimes he suffers, but mostly there are a lot of miseries. So today we are continuing this section, how Sukadeva Goswami is also in between. He's saying how Jadabharat overcome this. What is the solution? So Jadabharat also said what is the problem and is also saying what is the solution side by side. So now starting from verse number 37, so we'll see what Sukadeva Goswami is saying. So in this material world, everybody is trying to satisfy the senses. So in that way, everybody is inimical to other people. But still, so Sukadeva Goswami is saying, still they marry and they get married and then sometimes and desiring fulfill their desires, but it does not long very long because they are self-centered. They are not centered. So that's why Prabhupada used to say that marriage, grahastha ashram is actually a part of this varnashram dharma. So grahastha ashram is meant for elevation to the spiritual life. So all of these four varnas and four ashramas were created by Krishna himself. And there is a purpose. The purpose is to elevate one's consciousness gradually to the highest consciousness of Krishna consciousness. So if that is not the purpose, then the marriage ashrama does not last long, because if it is self-centered for fulfilling one's desires alone. So that's what Sukadeva Goswami is saying. And this material world is very dangerous and full of miseries. So in the jivatmas, sometimes it's like a merry-go-round. Sometimes you're on the top, sometimes you're on the bottom. And then it's full of dangerous paths. Padam padam vipadam. So in this material world, the conditioned souls are very much illusion and also very much afraid. So out of fear, in Sukadeva Goswami is saying that the conditioned soul, in order to maintain his family, sometimes he's overjoyed, sometimes he sings melodiously. So that means this illusion is very strong. It can carry away in either direction, positive or negative direction. And therefore he travels the dangerous path and eventually he forgets his separation from the Supreme Personality of Godhead from time immemorial. So Supreme Lord is in the heart of everyone. He is in the every atom also. Ekopi acho rachayitam jagadanda kotim yachakti jagadanda chayadadanta andantrastu paramana chayantrastum govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. So he is in every atom, he is in the heart of everyone. He is traveling along with the jiva every life after life. And because of the conditioned soul's attraction towards the Bahiranga Shakti, the material world, fulfilling its desires, he forgets the Supreme Lord, who is actually Suhrut. He is his best friend. And Supreme Lord is also well-wisher of everyone. So, and therefore, because Krishna buliya jiva, bhoga vancha kare, pasatiya maya tare, japatiya tare. So when the jiva forgets the Supreme Lord and goes after the bhoga of material world, then the Maya is trying to beat him again and again. So that is the dangerous path here, the Sukadeva Goswami is saying. But in order to get out of this dangerous path, one has to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So is there any other way? Sukadeva Goswami is saying, without accepting the devotional path, one cannot get out of the clutches of material existence. So actually, there is no other way to get out of this clutches. So that is the conclusion that is, Sukadeva Goswami is giving, which is based on the verdict of Jadu Bharat. So there is no option here. One must take to Krishna consciousness. So even, Prabhupada also mentions that, so there is a verse, it says that Guru is not optional. Like if you want to success in your spiritual life, Guru is must. There is a word stressing that. So similarly, the Krishna consciousness, the path of Krishna consciousness, the devotional path, that is the only way to cross over the ocean of material suffering. So now Sukadeva Goswami is going to elaborate about this, how to traverse this path that was taken by the saintly people and attain the path of liberation. So the way to traverse this path is, again, it was elaborated by Jadu Bharat. So the saintly people, the sadhus who are actually in this path, they're very merciful. So just by taking their association, we can cross over this material suffering and take to the path of Krishna consciousness. So this is very easily, one can easily attain the path of liberation and go back to Godhead. But again, if one is unfortunate and attached to miserable material conditions, even they cannot associate with the devotees. So in the verse number 39, so Jadu Bharat is describing how to get out of this. In the previous chapter also, he said one has to take the dust of the lotus feet of the devotees and sprinkle on his head. So that means that much importance is given to sadhu sangha here. So the association of pure devotees is the path that takes one to the liberation. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, says that Guru Krishna Prasade by Bhakti Lata Beach. So by the mercy of Guru and Krishna only, the seed of devotional service is given. So Guru is also sadhu. Guru is also is an external representation of Krishna. So both ways, one takes the shelter of Guru, he is also taking a shelter of a sadhu. So and then he's saying even great kings, there are many great kings who used to rule kingdoms, and they were expert in doing all these sacrifices, yagyas. Even they could not attain to loving devotional service because they are in the conception of this is my property, I am this body. This false consciousness of aham mameti. So the aham, I am this body, and whatever is surrounding this body is mine. So this consciousness, even the great kings, they have this consciousness, and what to speak of ordinary people. So in other words, Sukadeva Goswami is warning that this is not an easy task. One has to really take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So whatever may be one's ashrama, one's varna, like one may be a Kshatriya, one may be a Sudra, one may be a Brahmana, one may be a Vaishya, it doesn't matter. So the goal is, by his occupation, one must please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Bhagavatam also says, Atapumbi Dhrudashrestha Dvijashrestha Varnashrama Vibhagashaha Swanustitasya Dharmasya Samsiddhir Hari Toshanam. So the Hari Toshanam word is one has to please Lord Hari by his occupation, by his activities. So that is the essence that one has to perform in order to come out of these clutches. So, but in the other, on the other side, if we take shelter of karma valim, the path of the creeper of fruitive activities, then one may be elevated to higher planetary systems, and he might but again, unfortunately, he cannot remain there. He has to again come down after his pious activities are over. So this cycle goes on and on. So that is the reason here Sukadeva Goswami is even rejecting all other paths of elevating to higher planetary systems by fruitive activities, karma kanda activities. He is rejecting the path of material progression. He is asking everyone to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead so that we can be elevated to the loving devotional service. So the attraction towards the Supreme Lord is not very easy to get. If one gets it, he is very fortunate. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bija. So in this whole Brahmanda, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that who is that fortunate soul who gets the seed of bhakti by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. So it's not so easy. It's very, very difficult. And if one gets it, so fortunate. So one has to really protect this creeper of bhakti until it emanates into a love of Krishna. So for this, the path is very clear. One has to take shelter of the Guru, and one has to, serve, ask questions, and he has to inquire from the Guru, and he has to surrender to the Guru. So these are the path that Krishna has laid out. Tatvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena seveya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshinaha. So because the jnani, because Guru has seen the truth, Tattvadarshi, he can also reveal the truth to us if we follow this method. And is this optional? Shastra is saying this is not optional. So tasmat gurum prapadyante jignashu sreya uttamam. So in this verse also, this Guru, taking shelter of Guru is very important. And in the verse number 42, now Sukadeva Goswami has summarized the teachings of Jadu until the verse number 40 and 41. So now starting from verse number 42, now Jadu is saying how glorious is that the teachings of Jadu, and if one listens to the pastimes of Jadu, then what will be the results? All of these is explaining now. So Sukadeva Goswami is comparing the path followed by Jadu like the path followed by Garuda, so the carrier of the Lord. So this is the path followed by great saintly people, and Garuda is the greatest devotee of the Lord. And he's saying this is Mahajana ena gatastu panta. So like, Shastra also says, Rupa Goswami says, one has to follow the path of Mahajans. Now, Bharat Maharaj is also a great Mahajan, and we have to follow his path. And his path is as good as the one that followed by Garuda. So, but on the other side, the ordinary kings, the Rishis, the kings, saintly kings, or that ordinary kings, and they are compared to flies here. So flies is also, they can also fly. Garuda also can fly. So, but Garuda's, is so powerful when compared to the ordinary flies. So that is the path. The path of devotional service is the path one has to take, and one will be victorious. So that is the comparison given here. And it is very difficult to attain for even for great kings. So that is why Krishna also says, Manushyanam saharsheshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvataha. To know Krishna in truth is not an ordinary thing. It's very, very difficult. But the solution is there in Kali Yuga. The holy name is very merciful. So if one can chant the holy name of the Lord as recommended by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Hare Krishna mantra can easily take us to the other side of the ocean of suffering. So the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this Hare Nama, Hare Nama Eva Kevalam. So this path is easily can be done by the chanting process. That's what Prabhupada is saying. So he's saying we are very satisfied that this path is being opened up by this Krishna consciousness movement, because so many European American boys and girls are taking to this philosophy seriously and gradually attaining perfection. So only by the chanting process, Prabhupada is saying that Western world, they were able to easily take up this process. So the great the how Jadu the Bharat Maharaj, the how great he was. Now Sukadeva Goswami is giving an example of he was so fond of Lord Krishna, and he was so much attracted that he gave up so many things which are difficult for anyone to give up. So he gave up his so vast kingdom, and he gave up his nice, beautiful palace, wife, children, all of his friends, his empire, his, everything he had was so opulent. He gave up everything for the sake of Krishna, because Krishna was so attractive, and he's the Uttama Sloka. He's the one who is glorified with the choicest of the words. So, and the example is given that Malavat, like a stool. When he passes stool, he doesn't look after that, turn and look, right? So similarly, all of these opulence things, Maharaj, Bharat Maharaj just left it as if it is a stool. So, how much of detachment he had and how much of an attachment he had for Supreme Lord Krishna is, can be seen in this verse, in this explanation. So, so Prabhupada is quoting that how devotional service is so rare, and even a little bit one can achieve, it is so great. So in the Bhagavatam first canto, 5th chapter, it is said that Tyaktva swadharmam charanambutam harer bhajan apavak tato yadi yatra kwa va vad bhadram ahudik amushyakim ko varta apto abhajatam swadharmataha. So even somehow or other, if one is attracted to Krishna, whatever he does in his devotional service is a permanent asset. So even if one falls down due to immaturity or bad association, his devotional assets are never lost. So here Prabhupada is quoting this because Bharat Maharaj had to take 2 more lifetimes but Prabhupada is saying there is no loss. So on the verse number 44, Sukadeva Goswami is again glorifying the wonderful activities of Bharat Maharaj. So he's because Krishna is so attractive. So he's saying Mahatam Madutvit Seva Anukarta Manasham Abhava Api Palgu. So he just considered even liberation is insignificant in front of the service of Lord Krishna, because Krishna is so attractive. Krishna is so beautiful. So Prabhupada is saying in this verse, Krishna's all attractiveness is mentioned. So if one ihayashya harer dasya, if one acts to serve Krishna with karmana manasa gira, so body, mind, intelligence, and words, then even within this material world is a liberated person. So this is the verdict of Jivan Muktaha Sa Uchyate. So this is real mukti. So real mukti is not after leaving this body one gets to go back to the spiritual world. That is also mukti, but the actual mukti is one serves one acts to serve Krishna with body, mind, and words. So that's why the sannyasis have this tridanda, like three sticks tied together. It means karma, manasa, vacha, the body, mind, and intelligence. So, and then the last two verses, 45. In the verse 45, it is one important detail Sukadeva Goswami is revealing. So when Maharaj Bharat was in the body of a deer, it seems that he was meditating on one particular verse when he was leaving the body. So he was saying, Yajnaya Dharmapataye Vidhi Naipunya Yogaya Sankhya Sirashe Prakrita Shavaraya Narayanaya Haraye Namaha. So this is the verse he was contemplating when he was in the body of a deer, it seems. And then gradually we all know that he got the body of Jadu Bharat, and then on the next life he got liberated and went back to Godhead. So again, this is again he was revealing because he wanted to say that even in the body of a deer, that the bhakti he did in his previous life, it is very much intact and it did not get lost. So in the last verse, verse number 46, and again the glorification of Bharat Maharaj here. So anyone who discusses this pastimes, the characteristics of Bharat Maharaj, Shravanam, Kirtanam, his activities, anyone who praises his activities, anyone who submissively hears and chants all auspicious Bharat Maharaj, all the wonderful things like one's lifespan. So Ayu expands, and then his material opulences also increases. Whatever he wants in this material world and whatever he wants in the spiritual purification, everything can be attained here. So this is a great benediction the Lord is giving. And he's saying one does not have to ask anyone else for these things. So simply by studying the life of Bharat Maharaj, one can attain all these wonderful, desirable things. Hare Krishna, Bharat Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrand ki jai, Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Ramesh Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much.
All
Hare
the
Krishna.
best, Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.